Sometimes blessings arrive in envelopes, and sometimes they hide warnings inside. It was a quiet spring morning when Linda Parker, a widow in her early 70s, found a letter in her mailbox marked confidential. She lived alone in her small-town cottage, the same one her husband had built 50 years ago. The kitchen still smelled of his morning coffee, and the porch creaked under the same steps she once shared with him. When she opened the letter, her hands trembled slightly and a spark of hope flickered inside her chest. "Congratulations," it read. "You have been identified as the rightful heir to the late Edward Collins estate in Vermont." Her eyes widened. A distant cousin, perhaps. She hadn't heard that name in years. For a moment, she felt something she hadn't felt in months: luck. The letter was beautifully printed on thick paper with an embossed seal from Gregson and Moore, attorneys at law. It looked real, too real. At the bottom, a note. To finalize the inheritance, a one-time administrative fee of $8,000 is required. Linda frowned, then smiled to herself. That must be normal. Paperwork always costs something, she thought. That evening, she called her son Daniel. "Honey," she said brightly, "you won't believe this. I've inherited property." Daniel laughed softly. "What? From who?" She read the letter word for word, her voice filled with excitement. When she finished, the line went quiet. "Mum," Daniel said carefully, "did you look up this law firm?" "No, but it looks official." "There's even a seal." "Okay," he replied. "Don't send them anything yet." "Let me check it out first." She hesitated. "Oh, Daniel, not everything is a scam. Maybe your father's luck is finally coming back to us." Daniel didn't argue. He just said gently, "All right, Mum. I'll look into it tomorrow." The next day, Daniel sat at his laptop with a cup of coffee. He typed the law firm's name into Google. No website, no phone number, no records anywhere. His stomach tightened. He looked closer at the letter's email address, a generic free account, not something a real law firm would ever use. He leaned back, whispering, "Oh no. Mom, what have they done to you?" That afternoon, he drove to her cottage. The sunlight spilled through the lace curtains as she sat at the table, holding her checkbook, eyes full of hope. "I was just about to send the payment," she said. "The lawyer said it needs to be today." Daniel took the letter from her hand, scanning every line. His voice was calm, but his jaw clenched. "Mom, this isn't real. Look, no company ID, no address, just a post office box." Her face fell, the hope slowly draining from her eyes. "It can't be fake. Who would do something so cruel?" Daniel sighed. "People who see kindness as weakness." He promised her he'd find out who sent it. And that's when their quiet life changed. Over the next few days, Daniel investigated. He checked the postmark, called post offices, and even requested tracking records. Finally, a name surfaced, an address that didn't belong to any lawyer, but to someone familiar. It was Martin Hale, his father's old business partner, the man who'd helped at his dad's funeral, the man who'd eaten at their table. Daniel stared at the envelope again. The handwriting on it. It was Martin's. He sat back in his chair, shock mixing with anger and disbelief. "No," he whispered, "not him." To be continued. The next day, Daniel drove straight to Martin Hale's office. His hands gripped the steering wheel, his mind replaying every memory. Family dinners, laughter, the handshake at the funeral. When he walked in, Martin looked up and smiled. "Danny." What brings you here? Daniel placed the letter on his desk. You wrote this, didn't you? Martin blinked, his smile fading. What is this? He asked lightly, but his voice shook. You used my mother's grief, Daniel said quietly. You tried to steal from her. From us. Martin leaned back, sighed deeply. I didn't mean for it to go that far, he said. I was desperate, Danny. The business went under, and I thought, maybe if I got a little money, I could fix things. You call it a mistake, Daniel snapped. I call it betrayal. The room fell silent. The ticking clock on the wall grew louder than their breathing. Finally, Martin said softly, Your father would have helped me. He always did. My father is gone, Daniel said, and you used his name to rob his wife. He turned and walked away, the door closing behind him with a quiet finality. That night, Daniel told his mother everything. She listened without interrupting, her eyes distant, her lips trembling slightly. When he finished, she whispered, I should have known. Your father once said Martin loved money more than peace. Daniel sat beside her, taking her hand. We'll report it, Mom. You don't have to face this alone, but Linda shook her head. No, I'll warn others instead. Anger fades, but awareness protects. The next Sunday, at her church's widow support group, she stood up and told her story. Her voice calm, honest, strong. We can't change what others do, she said, but we can learn from it, and we can protect each other. Later that evening, Daniel found her sitting on the porch, the sunset painting her face in soft gold. You okay, Mom? He asked. She smiled faintly. I'm not angry anymore. Just grateful. I still have you. That's worth more than any inheritance. Daniel nodded, a quiet peace settling over them both. Moral, greed often wears a familiar face. Always question what feels too good to be true, even when it comes from someone you trust. Because truth may hurt for a moment, but deceit, it hurts forever. Thank you for listening to The Fake Inheritance. Have you ever received an offer that seemed too perfect to be true? Share your experience in the comments. It might help someone else stay safe. Subscribe for more true, emotional life stories about honesty, forgiveness, and awareness. Until next time, trust wisely, forgive kindly, and never stop seeking the truth.